So, Chris, let's just talk a little bit about odometer rollbacks in general. We really kind of thought with the age of the digital age, it was kind of a thing of the past that you really can't manually do this. But you're saying, or Carfax is saying, not so much.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a misnomer that you can no longer roll back an odometer. In fact, with the digital odometers, it can actually be easier because now you're not talking about manual labor to roll back the mileage. You're talking about plugging in a piece of software into the car's computer and literally changing the mileage on that car within seconds to whatever odometer reading you want it to say, with little to no sign that there was any tampering involved.
And for the folks who are looking to buy a used car, how big of a deal is it when we're talking just 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles in terms of rollbacks?
It's a big deal, both in terms of the amount of money that you're going to pay for a car, but also the wear and tear on those cars. A car that has 50 to 100,000 more miles than you expect it to have, the parts are going to wear prematurely before you expect them to. So you're likely going to have costly repairs sooner than you expect, which is money out of pocket, but also you're likely going to be paying more for that car up front, thinking that it has a lot less mileage than it actually does.
Let's talk about that. We found one car. Well, you guys found one car. There was one with a 94,000 mile difference in the odometer reading, which is shocking. What does that mean in terms of the value of this car?
That means the person that potentially bought that car is losing about $4,000, both in terms of the added repair that car is going to need, given the exorbitant amount of mileage that it actually has versus what they thought. Plus, they may have paid a lot more money than that car is actually worth. So $4,000 compounded over the vehicles that we expect are in Rhode Island with an odometer rollback, you're talking about $7.3 million that Rhode Island car buyers and drivers may have lost unknowingly buying a car with a rollback odometer.
Let's talk about the crime. Is it, first of all, a crime?
It is a crime to roll back the car's odometer, yes. The issue is, one of the issues, is that the laws vary in terms of how it's penalized. And in many states, the laws are a little less harsh, less severe, meaning that there's really no deterrence to keep a con artist, scam artist from doing this again and again.
So let's talk about, I know with the rankings you had said it was a little difficult to put Rhode Island in there because it's such a small state. I know with Massachusetts, Massachusetts had one of the highest rates of odometer rollbacks in the nation. Can you kind of tell us where Rhode Island fits into that?
Rhode Island has well above 1,800 vehicles that we expect have an odometer rollback. That might not seem like a huge number, but when you consider there's less than 1 million vehicles in the state of Rhode Island, and as you and I both know, it really only takes one for it to be a problem. It's a significant number for anybody that's considering buying a used car to be aware of, because you may very well end up with one of those 1,800 plus vehicles in your driveway without knowing it.
So what do we do?
Two things. If you want to see if your car now has a potential odometer rollback, you can do that absolutely free. You go to carfax.com/ODO and type in your 17-digit VIN, and we'll tell you for free if we identify a potential odometer rollback. If you're shopping for a used car, and many of us will be doing that this year, then you can start at our website, carfax.com. There's millions of vehicles listed for sale there, and the great thing is that all those cars come with a free Carfax report, so you have that information in your hand up front for free to see if there's any potential problems like an odometer rollback on those cars.
What about, how does that information get to you? I'm assuming that the information about the odometers being rolled back and the history of the car is only as good as the person or people putting in that information. Where does that information come from?
It comes from the majority of 92,000 data sources that report information to Carfax. More than half of the data in our database is actually mileage readings, and that's coming from dealerships, repair shops, emissions and inspection stations, thousands and thousands of sources that are providing mileage readings that we can identify a pattern of problems, see if the mileage drops and then keeps creeping up from that mileage drop to where we can identify a potential odometer rollback on almost any vehicle that's on the road.
Okay, and so let's just go back to the final question, I think, before I let you go. We did the cost of to consumers in regards to odometer rollbacks. But again, if we're shopping for a used car, we have access to that used car VIN number. We can, before we buy that car and get ourselves into this situation, go onto Carfax and plug in this VIN number, and we'll be able to at least get the odometer or the latest odometer reading that you have, correct?
You'll be able to see if we've identified a potential odometer rollback for that car for free. If you want to get more information, see the mileage readings and all the information that's been reported to us, then shop on our website. You can get a free Carfax report for any of those vehicles there, or ask the seller to give you one. And if you need to, get your own. You can use the VIN or the license plate at Carfax.com, and you'll unlock all the information that's been reported to us, including those mileage readings and a potential alert to an odometer rollback.